Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about victimhood and the need to be a victim to justify your bad behavior. And we are going to use the latest controversy with Tabitha Brown to do so. Now, if you're not aware, Tabitha has already been in hot water with the Black community because when we were told by that shamming pastor, Jamal Bryant, to boycott Target, Tabitha Brown came out and said, hey, you can boycott Target, but make sure that you do not boycott my products because Tabitha Brown has most of her products in Target stores. And the Black community said, you do not understand the assignment, you're nice, nasty, and turned on this woman. The latest scandal, I'm just going to let you guys listen to it because I have so many thoughts about just our inability to hear, to have ears that hear. There's a Bible verse that says, those who have ears, let them hear. Some of us do not have ears to hear. We have ears to be offended. We have ears to be victims. And this is yet another example. So I'm going to play you guys the video that has everyone with their panties in a bunch, and then I will leave my comments after.
Hello there. Real quick, that this is not to discourage you, because I want us to be clear about that first, okay? You kind of been in this place for a long time, okay? Now listen, you got good ideas, baby. You got good ideas. Your execution is not as good, okay? Your follow through not as good. The ideas though are great. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody, and that doesn't mean it's not for you. But right now, these last few months, few years, you know what I'm talking about, baby. It ain't been working for you, okay? And you doing a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul, okay? You done got yourself in some mess, and it's time for you to get a job. You hear me? You just gonna need to get a job for a little while, okay? It don't mean your ideas ain't good, okay? It don't mean that maybe one day you could be a good entrepreneur, but you have proven to yourself and everybody else that you owe money to, okay, that it ain't working right now, okay? It ain't worked for a while. It actually has never worked yet. Doesn't mean it won't ever work, but right now you need to go to work. You're gonna need to get a job, okay? And then keep working towards it. But at least you'll have a job while you are pursuing that thing. But right now, you need to get a job, baby. All right? That's it. I love you. Now go about your business, okay? Have a good night. Tomorrow, have a good day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's him. Don't be mad at me, okay?
So after this Instagram post came out, people were calling her tone deaf and how can she talk down to Black women and she doesn't understand. And they were absolutely offended because how could you not see the job, the unemployment rate, yada, 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 yada. And to that, I have a few things to say. Number one, you're being disingenuous. The whole point of this video is that if you are in fact an entrepreneur and you do not have a job right now and you're borrowing money from other people, go drive Uber. Go work at McDonald's. Go drive for Amazon and go make some money on the side. This is a very new phenomenon where we think we don't have to work while working on our side hustles. I know this because while I was a teacher for 12 years, I was building my business. It is very, very normal to get a job. This idea that you should never have to work and just be an entrepreneur is new and it's bad. So that's my first comment. As an entrepreneur, I am telling you right now that Tabitha is 100% correct. This idea that we can just borrow money from people until our dreams come true is silly. No one in the industry who has any kind of success has decided to just sit on their couch and wait for something to happen. Yes, you have ideas. Yes, you're executing, but Dreams usually take 10 years. How are you going to pay your bills? That's a genuine question that we have to ask ourselves. How am I going to pay my bills? And the way that you do that is by getting jobs like Amazon. She's not even saying get a 9 to 5, because Tabitha herself was an Uber driver. Why? Because when you're an Uber driver or you drive for Amazon, you have more flexibility, which means you have more flexibility to work on your craft. So, for example, I was training kids in the afternoons. If I wanted to drive for Lyft, I drove for Lyft at 6 in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I would train athletes in the afternoon. You take that kind of job. She's not even saying go get a bachelor's degree. She's saying stop being a succubus and taking everybody else's money while you work on some side hustle. Because here's the truth, you guys. When you are spending your own money for your side hustle, you act differently, you behave differently, you hustle differently. If you are using somebody else's money to fund your life while you're doing your side hustle, you have no sense of urgency, period. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about when I say we love to be a victim. She's telling you something as someone who's done it herself, that this is not the way to go. She doesn't even know why she's saying this, to be honest. I don't think she understands how deep this goes psychologically. She just knows that this is the truth. But on a psychological level, people, on a psychological level, when you're spending your own money for your side hustle, you make wiser decisions. Your decisions are different because it's your own money versus someone else's. Yes, go get a job. Number 2. The real reason why people are upset with Tabitha is because they're still mad about her Target conversation. So we do this thing with celebrities, anybody, and particularly in our community. We did it with Jackie Aina, we did it with Tabitha, we do it with Doechii. As soon as you get wealthy and famous, your job is to never tell us the truth. You can talk any old kind of way until you are in a different position, and then it becomes you're talking down to us. This idea that everybody is talking down to you because you don't like the message has got to go. This is why you will never be successful. Being able to hear what someone is saying, even if they are talking down to you, is actually a life skill. That is emotional intelligence. Being able to hear a message and not be offended by it is very, very important, particularly if that message is true. This is something that when I was a teacher, when we would talk about emotional intelligence, I would tell my students this. You do not have to like me. Is what I'm saying true? Because that's more important than whether or not you like this person. But if you have a filter on your ears, meaning you have ears that hear offense, denigration, you're talking down to me, then nobody can tell you anything. And we do this subconsciously to keep ourselves in a victim mindset. When you can say, you're talking down to me, that's a non-starter. That means that nobody has the ability to tell you anything. Now we have to address the fact that we didn't say it in the perfect, kind way, so you can't be receptive to it. That kind of behavior is juvenile. That is the behavior of someone who does not want to learn and of someone who does not have ears to hear or to understand. Now, let's get into some of these comments. This person says, now, Tabitha, you have not been down here a long time. Okay, in a long time. Right. People more than ever are having the hardest time finding a job, especially Black folk. There we go. There goes the victim. Especially us. Really? Let me get to this afterwards. Now is the time to tap into your God-given gifts. It's never easy, but it's so worth it. At Tabitha Brown, get back into that prayer closet. You're off on this one. Let me address the first part. People are having the hardest time finding a job. People who work for Uber and Lyft and Amazon are not having a hard time finding jobs, period. Especially Black folks. That's so silly. But this mentality of we are always struggling, we are always at the bottom, is very silly. This is a way to give yourself an excuse not to be successful. Remember, Tabitha Brown was not saying, oh, go get a career. She's saying go get a job. Those are two different things. She also says, now is the time to tap into your God-given gifts. If your God-given gifts are not making you money and you're having to take money from other people in your life, be so for real. Be honest with yourself. You're stealing from other people who are working hard so that you can fund something that's not giving you money yet. And this is from someone who was an entrepreneur. I pulled from my 401k to fund my entrepreneurship. But she's being disingenuous. Tabitha never said go get a 9 to 5 and give up on yourself. She said go get a job. Now, this person said, Tabitha Brown's words came off poorly no matter how she meant them. Nobody wants to hear, just go get a job, baby. First of all, that's not what she said. From someone who has one. You're hearing, just go get a job from someone who's exactly been in your shoes. And this is why I said at the beginning of the video, as soon as somebody gets into a position where they've been successful, we demonize them because we need to maintain our victimhood. You cannot look at people as aspirational and hear what they're saying unless you could have that victimhood. But in order to want to leave victimhood, you have to be willing to change your mindset. This woman is not. Nobody wants to hear advice about pulling back on your dream from someone who already accomplished theirs. She never said pull back on your dream. And this is why it's so fascinating to listen to people, read people's comments, because notice how she never said pull back on your dream. She said go do something that's going to fund your life and do your dream at the same time. She did it. I get the intended message and still feel like she could have read the room. And again, I will say this for the umpteenth time. Those who have ears will hear. Those people who want to hear will hear. Those people who want to be offended will be offended. And this is why you always have to just do you. And this comment looks like it was written by ChatGPT. Don't ask me how I know, but let's read it. This person says, as someone who was unemployed for a year, worked at H&M for months because her unemployment ran out and bank accounts and retirements drained, she got a job. I mean, it's like the contradiction is wild. Telling Black women, the majority of our audience, to get a job in this economy and job market isn't just tone deaf, it's cruel. The reason why I say it sounds like it's written by ChatGPT, because that last phrase sounds very ChatGPT-ish. I don't think it's cruel. I think it's honest. I think we don't have a tolerance for truth anymore. Everybody wants to be held by their hands. They want to be treated like toddlers. We do not have ears for truth. We want our ears to be tickled, which is what the scripture says. We do not want to be told the honest truth. We want people to say it in a soft tone and lie to us. Meanwhile, we're broke. And this is the honest truth, that most entrepreneurs, the reason why they go broke is because their ego says, I don't want to get a job. I don't want to go drive for Uber or work at McDonald's or do something. Let me tell you guys a story about an Olympian. He just won the 100-meter hurdles in the U.S. championships. He was working for UPS. UPS is a job. They're constantly hiring. FedEx is a job. They're constantly hiring. Anybody can get hired at FedEx, honestly. As long as you don't have a criminal record, you can get hired at FedEx. And in fact, they pay very well, actually, and you get benefits. And you can do like an overnight shift. So this athlete would train 8 hours a day for the Olympics. Yes, get recovery, go to weight training, do that. And then he would go to work. And the reason is because he understood that I still have to pay my bills. I don't have the privilege of taking money from everybody else while I work on this dream. Now he's signed major contracts. He'll never have to work a day in his life because he'll be a millionaire. He has all kinds of sponsorships and all of that. But the main point is that he understood that he had to get a job. He didn't go work in an office, a 9 to 5. He didn't go get a career. He said, okay, what can I do that will allow me to continue to train 8 hours a day for world championships to make a United States team? And what did he do? He went and worked at UPS because it's one of the most flexible jobs. Tabitha Brown herself also did this. And when people are saying, she's so insensitive, she's talking down to us, it's like, no, she's actually telling you the truth. And this is why, again, I said this earlier, this is why most of the women in these comment section will never be successful. Because when you are spending your own hard-earned money to support your own hard-earned career, your entrepreneurship, you work differently. The amount of work that this young man put in to make the U.S. team, it's far more than he would have put in if he was living off of his parents' money. because it's a soft place to land. And people who have made it, people who are successful, understand this concept. People who pretend to want to be successful, who actually love the struggle, they lie to themselves. And this is why they're upset with this woman. She said to get a job, and she's right. And as an entrepreneur, as someone who built my business from the ground up, if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to hear the hard things that most people don't want to hear, which is your business isn't working the way that it is. You need to switch things up. You need to try something different for marketing. I did all of those things. I also worked. I drove Lyft in the morning. If I wasn't going to make money that month, I drove Lyft because I knew, I was like, oh, I still have to pay my bills. Some months I had money, some months I didn't. It was part of being an entrepreneur, is getting a job and supporting yourself. It makes the grind more important to you. It makes what you do outside of that more successful. The truth is that a lot of you are not successful because you're not desperate. You're really not desperate enough. When you're actually desperate, you do things like go get a job to pay your bills. That's what you do. Everybody and anybody who's been an entrepreneur understands this. All right, you guys, I don't understand the vitriol with this woman. Like I said before, I know that a lot of it is because she works with Target still, and so they're punishing her. They're not really mad at her. They're just trying to give another example of why she's, wrong. And it's one thing about telling the truth, like being an actual truth teller, is that there are going to be people who their whole mission is to make sure that you don't actually speak the truth. And so these are the people in the comment section. Their whole mission is to make sure that people stay victims. Because again, once someone else does something that you want to do, you no longer have an excuse. Wait a minute. You can say, I'm a victim, I'm black, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, that, and the third. Don't tell me to pull myself up by my bootstraps, blah, 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 blah. Or you can do it. And so when people look at Tabitha Brown, and to be honest, you guys, she's not my favorite person. I'm just being honest. I don't really understand the hype with her. I really don't get her. She's not my cup of tea, period. But I can respect her being an entrepreneur. I can respect her hustle. Anybody that's like, yeah, I'm going to grind and work Uber and film videos in my car while I'm driving Uber because this is how I'm going to be successful, I can respect that hustle. And anybody who has the conviction to tell the truth, I can respect that. I don't know about all this other stuff, but I can respect that. And if you want to be successful, so should you. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you really think she was that out of pocket? I did not. I thought it was perfectly fine and kind of respectful. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.